The soothing sound of Sosiani River in Eldoret. The sound made when the flowing water hits rock. From the sound of it, it would seem as if everything is fine, that nature is at its finest, flowing well. But it's not. Cornelius Chepsoi takes me to one of the dams in Uasin Gishu County in Kenya's Rift Valley to understand exactly what's not right. He's the chairman of the Eldoret Water and Sanitation Company, whose sole mandate is to ensure that residents in Uasin Gishu County have enough water. That obligation is threatened. Water levels in all the rivers are drastically reducing.
Hakuna maji. Imagine hizi tunamwaga the storage. This is stored water and we're already releasing it. In the month of, by the time we're in January and February, we have to open this in full.
This pipe channeling water from the dam is now supplying water downstream.
This river, ordinarily, at a time like now, you would not be able to cross on foot. Being a spilling, in 1 week or 1.5 thereabout, there will be nothing spilling and will be forced to increase. You can see this. We are compensating for the river using this.
For the river
yes, that. And you can see we've already started.
But Chepsoi says that compensation can only be done for so long. The levels of the water from the dams is also reducing daily. This is Sosiani River sustaining one of the dams in Eldoret within Uasin Gishu County. For residents here, what was impossible a few years back, crossing from one end of the river to the other, is now possible as a result of the drastic reduction of the water levels in the rivers.
Kenya has had more than 8 years.
This is the Two Rivers Dam that got its name as a result of two rivers supplying water to the dam. It's a major water supplier to Eldoret town. Eldoret's population is growing fast. A different dam is said to be constructed over the next 3 years to sustain that growing number.
Actually, that dam, when built, is enough to serve the entire Eldoret town. We would not need another for the time being. So we propose to build it 500 meters coming upwards, and it would actually cover this one and go all the way into this little bush.
So this place is also meant to be a dam?
Yes.
When construction starts?
When construction starts, of this area will become the new dam, and it will produce about 70,000 cubic liters of water per day.
But that plan of a second dam might also not be realized if the current problem is not solved. Most rivers that feed this dam need to keep flowing. That flow is reducing because of this. The degradation of the Kiplagat forest.
And as you can see, this is a major thoroughfare for people and livestock. So people drive their cattle in and out of here for grazing and watering. We've counted 700 to 1,000 cattle going in here every day.
Paula is a resident of Kiplagat, lives here with her family. She's a conservationist by spirit, she says, not by training. Such empty spaces inside the Kiplagat forest are far too common a sight here.
In a healthy forest, the canopy covers the forest floor. So really very little, if any, sunlight would actually penetrate at all. So the fact that there's all this underbrush and sunlight is an indication of actually how degraded the forest is.
She's advocating for conserving the indigenous trees of the Kiplagat forest, partly in Uasin Gishu and Elgeyo Marakwet counties.
You can see none of the trees that we planted have survived. Or, look, this is actually a tree that when planted, it was probably like this. Yeah, and it's been eaten by the cows and the sheep.
She's walking the talk, but this walk, she says, has not been easy.
Because we've tried planting it 3 times. And, you know, we come in, so we come and plant, and the KFS is with us, of course, and they say, you know, we talk about the livestock issue, and the KFS, the forester, will say, oh, I'm going to fence this off like tomorrow, and I swear to you, you come back in a year, all these trees will be growing. Well, a week later, I come back, there's no fence. Some of the trees have just been slashed. There's like a herd of sheep in here eating the rest of them. You know, I find that really extremely discouraging. I find it extremely discouraging like when I found this group of women in the forest cutting mature indigenous trees to use as kuni to brew changa.
The weather patterns of this country are changing. And so it's not the weather of Kiplagat, for example, that will change if we don't protect this forest. It's the little collection of destruction that destroys the entire ecosystem of the country. So part of the reason why everybody in this country must be involved in the conservation of not just Kiplagat, but any other forest for that matter, is in the realization that Kiplagat is not just important for the people who live in Eldoret, or Kiplagat, or Iten, or the surrounding, but that if we don't do this, the entire climatic conditions of this country will be affected in the years to come. Just as we've seen the destruction of Mao change the rainfall patterns of this country.
It's the month of September. It should be all green and very cold around Kiplagat area, but the grounds of a story that for over 100 years. River Naiberi in Kiplagat Forest has the lowest water levels in recent years. The young boys play by the river. It's what they do when they are not herding the cattle. It's fun to cross, to hop, step and jump. The livelihood of the villagers here depend on this river.
And this is the first, I would say, place where Eldoret got its water, Eldoret town, pre-colonial times. And if I'm not wrong, it started in 1932. And you can see still working. Actually, until recently, we got water for one of our treatment works that has now ceased working, Kapsoya. And it's mostly because of competition with the people downstream.
Eldoret Water and Sanitation Chairman knows too well that what their mothers carry now, that which sustains life here, water, will not reach the hands of the next generation. If the current trend continues, Wangare Maathai put it as, nature is unforgiving.
Kiplagat is a part of the greater Mao. It's part of the Mao complex. Now, life is so intertwined. You don't live in one town to begin with. You can be living in Nairobi today and living in a different city in a few years to come. So if you look at Mao, for example, and the length of time it took us as a country to realize its importance, then it only it's important for everybody then, wherever you live, to think about conserving the little forest that is left.